Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I want to do a video talking about why Doctor Who failed. And there's going to be no BS from me. So, I would like to say, I watched the old classic Doctor Who's when I was a child. Can't really remember them. I have no interest in rewatching them. But then I started watching them again when Chris Eccleston took up the role. I wasn't really familiar with his work. I saw him in, I believe, only what's it called? 28 Days Later, where he played like a military sergeant. Watched him in that, and I think that were it. Then he was David Tennant, which I'd never seen him in anything else before Doctor Who. Then I saw him in Harry Potter. Then Matt Smith, never seen him in anything. Then I watched him in Terminator. Then Capaldi. I think he was in Zed. I want to say the Brad Pitt zombie movie, whatever the fuck that's called. Where was he? Whatever. Then after Capaldi, Jodie Whittaker. Never seen her in anything. I don't really care about watching her in Doctor Who. So, let's talk about why Doctor Who's actually failing and the things people won't talk about. Well, for one, Doctor Who is probably one of the last kind of TV shows that every day it's a different adventure. They did it with Smallville, done it with like The Flash and stuff like that, I think, but it's more like a superhero trope than anything else. And it's an okay trope to follow if you do it right. Smallville, very intriguing. I watched every episode. I think I watched them several times over. Doctor Who, all the way up until Matt Smith's demise, I watched them several times over. No offense to Peter Capaldi, but you were annoying as fuck as Doctor Who. I also want to come back to a subject that I'm going to mention, that is Doctor Who could be saved, and I'm going to tell you how at the end. So, Doctor Who is failing because of Jodie Whittaker. Now, I've never seen an episode with her in it, but from what I've seen online, she's alienating her audience just like Brie Larson did with hers. It wasn't her fault, it's obviously the audience's fault, blah blah blah, even though we're paying your salary. So yeah, it's our fault that she sucks at acting. Now, it sucks for a particular reason. No one cared. Nobody cared that Doctor Who could become a woman. He's an alien that when he dies, he changes every molecule in his body. So, obviously, if molecules are being rearranged and regenerated, the possibility is there for them to be male or female or black and white, and nobody cares. Honestly, we don't care. But when you're sticking it to the man and your first several episodes are about women's rights and all this crap. By the way, the Rosa Parks episode, bullshit. I never watched it, but the Rosa Parks thing, it was a political stunt. And who did I learn that from? A gentleman on the internet called Jesse Lee Peterson, a black priest who talks about it. Says it was a political stunt. It was supposed to be another woman, not Rosa Parks, but someone else. But she got pregnant, and Rosa Parks stepped in. So, there's that. And it makes you think as well. There's a Time Lord from way in the future. Can basically do anything, back and forth time, change things on a monumental level. But it deals with Rosa Parks. On the grand scheme of things, I'm sorry to say, it ain't that important. It's really not. At some point, that would have happened. it's a point in time that is inevitable. Just like the freedom of slaves, women's rights, it's an inevitable moment. It just is. She, if she wanted to do something for women's rights as a Time Lord, she could have gone back to the first point in history where man and woman made this arrangement where women stayed in the caves, looked after the young men go out and hunt, and she could have stepped in and gone, no, no, that's not fair. Send the women out to hunt, men stay in the caves. And would have loved to see how that went played out. Excuse me, got a neck problem. Anyway, I'm just pointing this out a millionth time over. No one cares that she's a woman. If they needed a strong female character, if you remember back, David Tennant had a clone daughter in one of the episodes with the Fish People, and the actor who played her was actually David Tennant's wife, which I'm sure that's got to be weird, right? Your wife's playing your daughter. Yeah. Anyway, she sets off in a spaceship, never to be seen from again, till this fucking day of my head. They could have brought her back as a female Time Lord. And they said, oh, she's only half Time Lord. So, Matt Smith ran out of lives. You found a way to fix that. And if she's got Time Lord DNA, maybe she spent a couple 100 years or whatever figuring out genetic biology or whatever to fix her problem, to become full Time Lord. They could have easily done that. They could have introduced another female Time Lord from any possibility. Like, we've had Time Lords stuck in bubbles outside our universes, or whatever. You could have had Time Lords crossover from different universes or different realities of existence. It's not like we've not played around with that when the Cybermen invade different realities. Couldn't another Time Lord have popped over? And that's another point as well. If they have this theory where there is different realities, like realities playing out at different levels every turn we make, so instead we go left, we go right. At some point, there'd have been several billion, or an infinite, I should say, amount of realities where Gallifrey did not get wiped out, so there'd still be Time Lords everywhere. And they actually say that Time Lords popped in and out of different realities all the time. So even if David Tennant's character isn't popping in and out of reality all the time, in alternate realities, they're still popping in and out of reality. So there's that. They could have introduced female Time Lords over and over again. They've just done it wrong because they wanted to appear woke. They don't care about your opinion. They want to just generate the most amount of money they can. They do not care about you. I guarantee. Now the 2020 election is 2021 election is over. 2020, 2021. It's gonna all stop. You're not gonna hear about BLM anymore, or transgender rights, or any of this crap. It's just gonna be. It's gonna go back to the same old crap that makes them the most amount of money. They'll look through history. Well, what made them? What was the biggest appeal here? Let's try that again. So there's that. Now, I said earlier, there's a way to save Doctor Who. And there absolutely is. So, what I would suggest is. Oh, excuse me. I would suggest that they go back and say, at some point, Doctor Who or the Doctor, was cloned. And this happened during Capaldi's era. So he was cloned, and what came next was a person who interferes more within realities. And they could call it, I don't know, off the top of my head, the Nightmare Child. Because, let's face it, from what I've seen, Jodie Whittaker's character seems to interfere a lot more. So they could just say that was a clone, and the real Doctor is still locked in that little box thing that freed Gallifrey. You know, where he went the long way around. Or he could be locked in Gallifrey in the catacombs, or several million other things could be happening to him. Could be locked in the TARDIS, or whatever. They could absolutely save Doctor Who. It's just the people who air this stuff need to admit they fucks up. But with all that being said, we don't care if there's a female Doctor, but it shouldn't change what is. They should have just introduced another one. There has been plenty of opportunities to do so. So they could have brought the Doctor's daughter back that got cloned when David Tennant was on. They could have got another Doctor another Time Lord that had been waiting at the edge of the universe for 1,000 years or whatever in a stasis chamber. There's a million possibilities when time is involved. It's not that hard. If you can make a physical representation of the devil in a Doctor Who episode, you can definitely take a few steps back and say, "Oh, this wasn't the Doctor. This was someone else, imposter." Now, personally, I've got nothing against Jodie Whittaker. I don't really care for her, but I don't have anything against her. It's just a role, isn't it? But she's not done it well, obviously. She could do with stepping away with dignity and handing the reins back to people who care about the role. Personally, if I were a woman and if somebody offered me a female role, let's say Captain Marvel, I'd say no, it should be kept within the female bounds, just so they keep the keep what is for women. The Doctor Who, obviously, it's not all about males or white males. It's got nothing to do with gender. It was just a sci-fi movie. That's like having Star Trek but having Captain Kirk as a woman. It don't work. It doesn't work. It worked better when it was a man. Because not to butthurt anyone, but men command authority more than women. And I don't know if you noticed as well, like, since the Doctor restarted with Christopher Eccleston, I was going to say Christopher Lambert then, Christopher Eccleston, there's always been like the companion falling in love with him kind of thing. And that happened before as well, before Chris Eccleston, back in the classic ones. If that happened today, a man falling in love with the female Doctor, he'd be called probably called sexual predator or something like that. Because it's a double standard. It's always a double standard. So, that's the end of my video. It's a little bitch and moan about Doctor Who, how they could save it, and what's wrong with it. If you're one of the people who stopped watching Doctor Who like I did watch the Capaldi ones, but I'm not watching the Jodie Whittaker ones. If you stopped watching about the same time as me, more power to you. I hope maybe at some point I'll watch them, but I seriously doubt it. I have no interest in watching some gender baiting program. It's just the exact same reason I would not watch Loose Women. I've got better things to do with my time, like watch paint dry. I don't need to watch a program to be told I'm the bad guy. The program failed because I'm not woke enough. I'm not woke enough. So yeah, here's my problems with Doctor Who, and they could save it, but they won't because they'd have to admit they fucked up. So, I'll catch you sexy people next time. Bye.